tie together, we could easily hit 200-300, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to point up the importance of, for those of us, you know, the Central Islip March was fantastic. You know, I wish I could have made it here earlier today to participate with you guys. But as long as we keep posting stuff on this Central, I guess you'll have a couple of hundred people. Just look around this room and remember that behind every one of us are about 200.
Brian.
I just wanted a quick point of clarification, I guess. Also, we're looking at doing it.
Don't discount Suffolk. We have 1.5 million people.
I know you
You
guys.
guys canvassing? Like neighborhoods? I'm sorry.
That's what we did this morning.
There's a lot of stress on individual things that groups want to do. You know, Occupy Wall Street has really been stressing for a long time. To such an extent there is a long time. But remember, at least for me, I remember the way I got, where was it, Liberty Square, I guess, and, you know, take part. So I went, and what the hell, there were like 30,000 people there, right? And all kinds of unions. I mean, I've never seen so many unions together in one place. So there was a huge presence that evening, and it was impossible to ignore. So each of the little, you know, they're going to be little. Each of the little things that you do in your communities will be spiritually wonderful, but they don't compare to if we could only get ourselves together someday and try to work towards a mass presence on Long Island and do one thing, two things, three things. So Memorial Day, July 4th, Labor Day, you know, even those three, to build towards that kind of mass presence.
I just, you know, in support of that, March 17th, which is a Saturday and St. Patrick's Day, will be 6 months to the day since beginning of Occupy Wall Street. I anticipate, right, wouldn't it be?
17th, yeah.
March 17th will be 6 months from September 17th. It'll be half a year. So that, I'm assuming, will be a big commemoration on Occupy Wall Street, maybe Occupy Long Island, Occupy Oakland, Occupy the world. So I just want to put that out there in addition to the other items on the calendar.
Yes.
Me?
Yes.
I think we need to do a huge action, just to solidify us, number one. Number two is our main problem. Everybody isn't here in this room on Long Island. It's packed and it's good, but the problem isn't that we're not correct. The problem is that people don't know, and they don't know because of media. All these other problems, environment, and all of this, wonderful. I'm with you. Homelessness, everything. But nothing is going to happen as long as the corporations control that media and feed people doctored up bullshit. And we got to stop that. We got to either occupy them or do something with media. Stop the goddamn corporate ownership or something. I don't know what you do to get them to act like Fourth Estate and give people correct information.
In all fairness, Jed Morey, who publishes the Long Island Press, is totally on board with the Occupy movement. In all fairness.
Well, I don't know that that's all fairness, because I really don't know. But
I'm telling you, Jed is totally.
Well, then let's go down there and let's get him to start putting out some good stuff.
He already is. He's on it.
He's on the wars. He's on everything.
He was on Occupy the Court, sir.
Really?
Yeah.
Mike Jack. I think it's going to be a very important part of the survival of our movement is to come up with a focused media working group for things like Occupy Long Island, Occupy New York, Occupy Wall Street. If we can get a team of 10 people, you know, 3 from each one of those areas to make something move forward, then we're going to start having an impact.
Mike Check.
Mike Jack.
I would like to propose that if somebody wants to, you know, if the group wants to do actions quickly, that 2 of our first actions should be demonstrating in front of the Melville office of Newsday and the Woodbury office of Channel 12, demanding that they cover us. Because I have, for the last 30 years, very carefully cultivated relationships with assignment editors and news editors and so forth, and now that there's so much turnover at both of those entities, and they've gotten so much worse at covering real news, I feel that, you know, notwithstanding, you know, the little blip here and there, like the Peter Maniscalco article, that not only should we do massive demonstrations, and that those should be our first 2 Long Island General Assembly demonstrations, but that we should also meet with each of their editorial boards to show them that we are not borderline, you know, off the center, that we are mainstream people. We're not a bunch of dirty, unemployed hippies. That we are working people, retired. But anyway, so that's a threefold proposal or idea that I'm putting out there, that our first 2 actions should be on 12 Tuesday, and that we should also sit down with each of their editorial boards. I don't know if people like that, but I'm throwing it out there.
I'm kidding. I'm glad you came. We emailed each other.
Oh, good, yeah. I was wondering what was, like, if there was a truce or...
No, I told her, like, we have to keep it positive.
Yeah,
I don't want to scare people. I don't want to hear anymore.
No, I don't want to either.
It's stupid. We're all on the same side.
We're already, like, on the fringes. Occupy Long Island, we're all kind of, like, separated as it is. We need to really come together.
Absolutely, I agree.
You don't have to agree with me. It's just my experience has been that they're not gonna give you like a positive yeah, way to go, guys. You know, like, you know, they're not gonna do that. Like most of like the reporting, like even CNN, like what was her name, Burnett?
Oh, Erin Burnett?
Wasn't she married to some banker? Right? Isn't she married to some who's?
Sucks.
Of course she's not gonna.
That these things happen not because of the media. We don't have to rely on them. What happened was because of people like these people videotaping the stuff, like on camera, the police brutality and all that stuff. That's what really got the attention of the world. We can't just like wait for the media to do something. You know, and we're not gonna solve anything by simply going over there. You know what I mean? You know, we gotta create our own news. That's all I'm saying.
In a sense, I agree with you, but I'm one of those ordinary people out there on cover it. We have to throw this in their face.
I mean, yeah,
we
but...
really need it thrown in their face that we're out there. That's how I feel. Very
My one addition to this conversation is that I would suggest that we do go ahead and do this move, go ahead and attempt to get their attention. If they ignore us, and you're right, they may. If they ignore us, we've tried. We've tried dealing with them on their ground, then we're going to have to drag much out.
I can agree with that.
I agree with everything that's being said here, and I think this is where a coordinated effort of a media working group is going to coalesce with all these ideas, put together some sort of plan somehow or another, and start pushing them forward as spring approaches. Because as the weather turns warm, this thing is gonna fly.
Yes. Okay. I think we have to be very deliberate in terms of how we communicate with the media. So, going back a few months ago, Suffolk Peace Network again just invited people from the different Long Island Occupy groups to a meeting that we devoted to discussing the Occupy movement. It's always one of the topics that comes up, but we allotted virtually the whole meeting time to it. And at that meeting, we made the decision to coordinate a demonstration working with the different Occupy groups for Occupy Black Friday at the Smith Haven Mall. We had 85 people there. We were covered by Long Island Press was wonderful. They've been for a number of demonstrations, really great. You're right. And Newsday was there. Channel 12 was there, and I think we shared the dismay.
You can close that window.
Newsday and Channel 12, the company we know has taken a severe turn to the right over the last bit. When we do whatever we do, though, I would suggest that it's important that we make sure that we have a media group within the group of people organizing the demonstration, so that the press releases go out, so that there's an official statement from the group, so there's an official contact person at the demonstration. We're certainly great if they interview a lot of people and everybody's free. It makes our media coverage a lot more effective.
And I would like to propose that whatever we do, we don't do the same old business as usual, which chanting and, that we use some of the more creative tactics that OWS has been using and that other occupiers around the country have been using. I'd like to see us using mic checks and flash mobs and a whole variety of creative things that will really get the media's attention. Street theater.
With my dealings with the media, I've found that they have a story that they want to make, which is not the same as the one you want to make, and they will seize upon the one line that you say off the cuff, the one thing that you say that is not 100% on message,
No, I'm good.
Thank
Thank you.
and use it to discredit every chance they get. That has been my experience every time I've talk to people who've dealt with the media. It's either I never actually said what they quoted me, or they'll quote you verbatim when you're speaking colloquially and make you sound like an idiot, because when they write it out in text, it just reads dumb. But when you're just saying it off the cuff and, editing as you go, it sounds normal. So just I want to urge caution when dealing with the media and make sure you don't give them anything to use against you.
That's just what he said.
Exactly.
I am willing to step up and start this media working group from the Hamptons. Are there other people here that are willing to join me? Ty, let's get together and spend 5-10 minutes after this is over.
We actually have a media working group.
I know we do, but we're talking,
Yeah.
Occupy Long Island.
Okay.
And we'll start trying to coordinate a plan.
Okay.
Absolutely.
St. Patrick's Day parades?
Well, that's what we're going to start figuring all this stuff out, and what we want to do as Occupy Long Island, not just Mineola, the Hamptons, but as Occupy Long Island. What events can we do? What face can we put towards the media? What can we do to move it forward?
And someplace that is very visible.
Absolutely.
Very
I'm talking,
visible.
That's what I said, you're so helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was
Hey, Chris.
nice to meet you. We'll see you next time, I hope. Great, thank you.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Thank you. Our next meeting, the last Saturday of the month, what's the date of it? February?
Exhibition of
February 25? Thank you.
technology.
I'm not sure about March 17th, because it might, I'm just going to say, because it might be perceived as a statement against the people who are celebrating for whatever reason. Nothing particularly against celebrating March 17th, whereas the air show is something I have feelings about. So that having a demonstration that's opposed to something, it's seen as opposed, whether it is or isn't. And I think if we did it March 17th,
Get involved with your media working groups.
What does that have to do? I think the facilitator needs to make sure that one person talks about stuff.
That's right.
We're all adults. I mean,
Yeah, please don't stop.
I'm sorry.
Please finish your statement.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
You were interrupting her. You did.
Did I? I'm sorry. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Please finish your statement.
That's good, as long as you're staying sorry.
Get out of some space.
So is there any other things that you'd like to talk about? Anybody, any other motions to close?
We're on the topic of island-wide agendas. We have one great idea about a media group, but there may be other ideas about island-wide agendas.
I mean, usually it's just you have an idea, and then you meet with people and you talk about it, and put that idea on the agenda, and then we all vote, or we all get consensus on it later. And it seems like right now we're just all trying to talk and figure it out, and I don't know how to facilitate that because it's really not an agenda, it's a conversation. So that
there is an agenda item that's called island-wide actions and
well,
island-wide
we
priorities.
never really decided. We're just talking. I mean, that's just what I see. If anybody else disagrees, I mean, if you guys just want to talk about, if we just want to talk about what we want to do, that's one thing, but it's hard to facilitate that because there's no really end goal and it's not really planned enough and solid enough to actually work with from where I'm standing.
You don't have to go for a GA to propose a working group.
Speak up a little bit.
Yeah, there's a big group and there's lots of catacombs here, and nobody can hear, so you have to speak up loud, project your voice.
No, I was just asking a question, like, do you have to go through the GA to create a working group, which I'm not sure about.
To say that I want to make a specific working group, if anyone would like to join a specific working group, we
Okay. Alright, that sounds good. Alright.
Well, the way that
Sorry, the way we're organized now, it would take us all night to get one thing done, and I've been to a lot of GAs, and Ty's seen it too, and we've been through hell with it, and it's happening again, so that's why I'm saying maybe we could just talk to each other, and then the next GA, at that yoga studio, then we could actually have solid stuff to put on the table, instead of just talking in circles and just having somebody call on people, you know what I mean? It's just more organized. If you don't want to do it, then we can keep talking. Yeah.
Set up a facilitator or did you just say that?
I'd be happy to train anybody that wants to facilitate. You don't need to know nothing about nothing.
No, so can we designate a facilitator for the next meeting?
Well, usually anybody that wants to facilitate,
do that?
facilitates.
Okay.
Yeah. When's the next meeting? What time? It's Saturday, 3:30 at this yoga studio.
the last Saturday.
This is
452 Johnson Avenue, Bohemia, 11716, and the intersection is Church Street.
On February 25th.
February 25th, 3:30 p.m.
Can we begin a conversation about an agenda for next month's meeting so that the GAs have an opportunity to talk about the agenda?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want. It's just I don't think we need a facilitator to do it because it's just a conversation. Maybe we could all like get in smaller groups and talk, and it would be more civil.
Fuller sense of what we'll be talking about. Is there any opposition to doing that right now? Okay, would anybody like to initiate?